Hello, I'm Jacqueline Grady, and welcome to SUNY Oneonta's In Discussion. With me on today's program is the producer of the documentary Thread. Here is a preview.
The world sees us as a lost cause. I don't, because I believe in the women of Afghanistan who have struggled so much. As a woman in Afghanistan, there is no identity, there is no autonomy, there is no self. It was through the needle and through the embroidery that they had to find sanity for their lives.
Why can't I even wear what I want? Why can't I have this freedom?
Dana Kuznetzkoff is a producer, creative director, and documentary filmmaker. She has worked on diverse projects from HBO's notable series The Wire and NBC's television series Ed. Her film production experience ranges from the award-winning film Forrest Gump to the Tolerance and Diversity and Thread documentaries. Welcome, Dana. The documentary you recently produced is known as Thread. Can you tell us what this film is about?
Sure. Thread is it's a fascinating journey into the lives of some Afghan women back during the days, right as the Taliban fell. There's an organization that a nonprofit that I work with called Be Peace, the Business Council for Peace. That's bpeace.org. And Be Peace goes into regions of conflict and post-conflict and targets women. It reaches out to women that have some type of business skills or have started a business already, and it mentors them. It's a 3-year commitment that the women make to Be Peace and that Be Peace makes to these women, and it mentors them. And what Thread did was we selected 5 of these women that were accepted into the Be Peace program, and we followed them for a year. We went to Afghanistan, we went to their homes, we met them, we met their families, and then part of the program is they come to New York. At that time, all the women were involved in textiles or fashion somehow, so we brought them to New York for a 3-week training program.
So what inspired you to create this film, or produce this film, I should say?
I am lucky enough to be a television and film producer by trade. That's my job. And they found me, which I'm thrilled about. Lori Chalk, who's the director of Thread and also the chair of Be Peace, called me through friends of a friend. It's all word of mouth, because at that time I was producing a television series, plus I'd already done a documentary, and asked me if I'd be interested in this project. And as soon as I read about Be Peace, I said, I'm in, hook me up, you know. I was totally down for it. And then we were off to the races.
That's great. It's interesting. When you traveled to Afghanistan to produce Thread, what were your experiences like there? What was it like there?
Well, the whole experience producing Thread was incredible. It wasn't just going to Afghanistan, which certainly was very exciting and terrifying all at the same time. Being involved in a documentary like this, well, what we did was we gave these women a voice. These women don't normally have a voice. When I spoke to my peers and asked them, women in Afghanistan, what do you think? They instantly said oppression, women in burqas, trailing behind men. They had no real idea of what it was like. So to be a part of putting something together where we can show the world, this is what these women are like. They are dying to be heard. They have a lot to say. They want a voice. They want to sit at the table. And these women are successful business people, and that's what's very exciting. So I found being there just incredible. And the fact that we went to everyone's homes, they are so welcoming. They opened up their homes to us. They fed us. It was just an amazing journey.
What is it like? What is life like there for the women in Afghanistan?
Well, the women that we met, most of them were married. There were 2 that were not married, and it's a tough question. It's what we see in the news, what we see in the media. It's not what I've experienced when I was there. The women were smart. Or if you come to the movie tonight, you'll get a really good idea. These women sat around, told dirty jokes, talked about men, talked about their kids. What what I find, you'll see this in the documentary thread, there's one scene that I love. One of our heroes, one of our associates who runs a very, very well-respected clothing store, we're in her home, we're with her 2 little girls, and one little girl is sitting there with just a sour puss on her face. She's just all nasty and up in everyone's face, and the mother said, this is the Afghan woman, said, she's upset with me because I wasn't here when she went off to school this morning. Now that's international. Every woman in the globe has the same problems. They're just trying to raise their kids, put food on the table, maybe bring some money home because it's such an impoverished area. They were fascinating. I loved these women.
Yes, yeah, that sounds great. So tell me about the mentor empowerment program that you have.
This is the Business Council for Peace, bpeace.org, and bpeace runs. We have 3 programs in 3 countries. We have a very successful program in Rwanda, a very successful program in Afghanistan, and we just joined El Salvador. And these programs are all about empowering women. Again, I said they're a 3-year program. BP, we like to look at ourselves as a huge consulting organization. So we have volunteer members that are literally all over the world, and we marry them with women they're mostly women in regions of conflict and post-conflict that have some kind of skill, and we are consultants to them. We help them, we teach them more, not necessarily how to westernize their business, because that's not what it's about at all, but certainly to show them a little more in terms of business skills and styling and marketing and packaging. And the goal of BPeace is more jobs mean less violence. That's the goal. If we can get these women to build their businesses and become employers, then we are giving them more of a voice. They become stronger voices in their communities. They become stronger players in their family. And that's what it's all about. We're empowering them to find their voice.
Yeah, that's very inspiring.
It really is a great program.
Yeah, it sounds it. So you also produced another award-winning documentary, is that correct?
I did. That was a very long time ago. Wow, that's funny. Wow, where you found that from?
Tolerance and Diversity?
Tolerance and Diversity. That was the first documentary that I ever did. And also, you know, like I said, I do a lot of commercial film and television, and these documentaries are all just blessings that fell into my lap. This was a program that an organization called Cities in Schools, which still exists today. I was living in LA at the time, and this program married inner city kids from South Central, actually all of Southern California, so South Central, Watts, Compton, with inner city kids from London, East London, Poplar, very violent areas. And what we did was we created a program where these kids got together and designed their own peer-to-peer workshops on tolerance. And it was a great program. And again, it was another year, and I treated it like I was shooting a movie. Had the kids from the UK come to the States. USC, you know, huge college in Southern California, gave us a frat house that had recently lost its charter. So each kid had a bedroom and a bathroom, and they were all completely floored. And then we went to the UK, and we took the program that these kids developed, and we went to various community groups and schools, and we did it. We did this program, and some of them were really, really successful, and some of them not so much. But we created a really nice 30-minute documentary that is still used. In the UK, it was used in the States, but a lot of the educational systems are a little tough to break into with a random documentary. But in the UK, it's in the Prince's Trust catalog, which is a very respected catalog for educational materials, and it's used to this minute, which is great.
Yeah,
Excuse me, it's great. Yeah,
that's great.
That was
and
fun.
In that documentary, won an award.
It did. It did win an award. We had Danny Glover narrate it, which was great. It won an award in the UK with the Prince's Trust campaign. So that was kind of nice.
Awesome.
Yeah,
that's
really
exciting. Well, congratulations for that.
Thank you. I can't believe you dug that up from God knows where. Okay.
Well, in addition to producing documentaries, what other films have you worked with?
I've been very lucky. I did The Wire, season 3 of The Wire, which is a TV series for HBO that, oh my God, everyone loves that show. Yeah. Still, I mean, The Wire stopped shooting 3 years ago, and it's still one of the most popular DVDs television sales today, which is pretty cool. I love that. I did a lot of work for HBO. I also just did the pilot episode of Boardwalk Empire. I did that last year. That was with Scorsese directing it, which was extremely exciting. Yeah, I've had a great run. I've been very happy.
And you're part of Ed too.
The television show for NBC. Yes, I was the co-producer of Ed. That's also a great show.
Yeah.
Very unique, a lot of fun. We shot that in New Jersey. We took an abandoned bowling alley that was going out of business, and we turned it into a TV studio.
Oh.
Yeah, you know, exactly. People would drive by and they would say,
bowling alleys.
you have to be as creative as you possibly can, especially when it comes to looking for space to shoot TV.
Yeah, it's awesome. Well, talk about your experience helping produce one of the greatest, arguably one of the greatest films, Forrest Gump.
Oh, I was not the producer, but thank you so much.
Oh, did you help?
I was the assistant director.
Assistant director.
I was one of the
Okay.
ADs in that film, which is great. Being an assistant director is a fantastic job. That's how I started in the film and television industry. I started with the Directors Guild Assistant Directors Training Program, and it trains you to be an assistant director, which is not about getting coffee or babysitters or anything like that. It's management and scheduling and budgeting, and one of the greatest experiences ever because it was huge. We traveled all over the country, and we had hundreds of extras, and it was one of the early shows. Digital effects and computer graphics was not huge. When was Forrest Gump? I don't even know, 91-ish, 95-ish, 90-something-ish. A while ago, a long time ago. Too long ago to still be talking about.
1991.
Yeah, it was a really long time ago. And we did a lot of computer graphics work and a lot of CGI work, and it was a whole, we broke grounds for a lot of stuff, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, I do know that in 1995 you won Directors Guild Awards.
That was for Gump, so that's right. So the directing team, that's what I love about the DGA, is that the director's team gets an award and not just the director, which I think is really smart because it's such a collaborative medium that everybody is involved. So that was fun. That was a lot of fun.
So I know that you work in both television and film.
Yes.
Can you talk about the differences between the two and working in two?
I love the fact that I'm from New York, and in New York, you have the freedom for crossover. You are lucky enough where you can do documentaries and TV series and feature films. I love that. When you get to a city like Los Angeles, it's very hard to have crossover. Television, to me, and again, this is just my experience, mini feature films, because in 8 days you have to. I mean, look at some of the shows on TV today. Look at Fringe. That's a feature film, where you have 8 days to shoot it. You're in, you're out in 8 days. So it's taking everything that you learned and everything that you do in feature films and just encapsulating it so you can get it done in 8 days and not, I mean, Forrest Gump was 104 days. So there's a bit of a difference. So that's one. The money certainly is different. Feature films, the budgets tends to be a little bigger. And I would say, in terms of the quality of talent, there's no difference. You see fantastic feature film actors on episodic shows, as well as some of the best feature film directors are doing. Look at Scorsese directed Boardwalk Empire. That's pretty cool. So I think the differences are in the timing and the scheduling. You have to be able to do what you do on a feature film, just scale it down a little. It used to be that we would say, oh, it's only a 12-inch box, so they're not going to see the wrinkle in the shirt. But now with HD and everyone has a 50-inch television in their home, you will see every flaw. So now they have to be treated like they're going to be on an 8-foot screen. So in terms of that, what you're actually seeing on film, there's no difference. The difference is really money and schedule.
Do you have a preference?
No, absolutely not.
No?
No, I like making good movies.
Good.
I like making good projects.
Awesome. So what are some of the things you remember from being a graduate from SUNY Oneonta?
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
So we talk about your experience
I loved being a student at Oneonta. My most fond memories are this sounds like I'm writing the people that I met when I was a student here, I'm still friends with to this minute. And why I'm here, because Professor Colby Thomas, we graduated together, and she put together this great weekend showing everybody thread. We sat down and did a list of 19 of my friends from my graduating class that are quality working professionals in the film and television industry. 19, it's huge from one class. Yeah. So the people that I met here were my best experience.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
And the education?
The education, I had Frank O'Mara, one of my favorite speech communications professors, and I was talking this morning about Richard Siegfried had a class that had to do with, for seniors only, theater majors that were seniors only, and he really smacked us into reality of what it's going to be like graduating with a theater degree, and what do you think you're going to do with it, and how do you think you're going to earn a living. And that was the most powerful class, because,
yeah.
you know.
Well, that's what I was going to say, because I know that when you were here, there wasn't a communications arts program like we have now. And now we have so many kids in our school now that are very interested in communication arts. So how would you say that did you get into the business? From, you said you graduated with theater. So
Theater took a lot of us. It brought us into the entertainment industry. We had some great professors here that had amazing shows. The production value on the shows that we did were, professional quality. They were incredible. And they had some traveling theater troupes that we were all part of. And then when we graduated here, we really took back, most of us lived in the city, we took back, we replicated one of the programs that was up here at SUNY Oneonta, which I'm sorry it's not here anymore. It was called the Dragon Wagon Children's Theater Company. And Dr. Ted Cockey created this program, and it was a theater company that traveled to a lot of the farms up here, a lot of the schools up here, a lot of the migrant camps up here, and produced quality theater. And we emulated that program, or replicated that program down in the city for about 4 years. So that's how we started. If that's
how do you work your way up in the business, though?
That, you know what, how did I work my way up? I just never stopped. I think that's really, it's a very freelance industry, and you work every 3 months, and then you're unemployed for a couple of weeks, and then you work again, and then you're unemployed. I just started, and once you start, you don't stop. Being part of the Directors Guild training program was a great experience, and this kind of industry is really all about who you know, and how, you're only as good as the people you surround yourself with, and the reputation from your last job.
What was the starting point for you? Was it the very first project or job that you worked at, or that got you going?
In film and television, my first day on a film set, with part of being a DGA trainee, was my first day on a film set. And it was a TV movie called Classified Love that Michael McKean and Diana Manoff starred in. The director was someone so famous, and it was Don Taylor, who was an actor. And the director of photography was Barry Sonnenfeld. And I had never, ever been on a film set before, and I was so lucky to have been surrounded by people that cared, that just mentored and took me under their wing, and I've been very, very lucky. Very fortunate. And I was good, you know. It's funny, because I heard, who said this? Women never say they're good at anything. They always say they were lucky or they were blessed. Whereas if you ask a man, how are you so successful in your industry? The first thing they say, it's because I'm good at it. So I'm trying to get out of that habit of saying I'm very lucky, but people hire me, which is nice.
What is your favorite part about working in New York?
I love New York. I love the people. I love the energy. I have shot in a lot of states in this country, and there's just nothing like shooting in New York. It's a great place to shoot.
No, came to my understanding just recently that you were down at 9/11 when that kind of was going on that day. What was that like? How were you there that day?
Oh, wow.
How'd you get there that day?
When the attacks happened, I was working in New Jersey, and I was on a TV show, Ed. We talked about that, and all the roads, the bridges and tunnels were closed to get into New York, so we were literally trapped in New Jersey. People that lived upstate could circumvent going through the city and were able to get home. And a very, very dear friend of mine was with the Office of Emergency Management. He was one of the supervisors. And when phone lines opened, I finally was able to get in touch with him. And the one thing that they did not have was administrative help. The Office of Emergency Management was destroyed. The offices went down, and everybody at that time in New York just wanted to do something. Everybody just wanted to help, whether you could send a carton of socks or whether you could somehow find a way to volunteer. And I was lucky enough to be able to go down and help them set up the cafeteria that was used as an emergency center. So every city agency, the army, the government, everyone had it. It was a high school cafeteria. Everyone had a table, and I went down there, and a simple thing like setting up the fax machine or putting out envelopes for just things that we do, because I wasn't strong enough or fit enough to go do anything manually, so I was able to go help set up the administrative offices in the high school. So.
That's inspiring to hear. I mean, I'm sorry to put you there, but, Well, it's good for you. On a lighter note, you are vice chair of the Producers Guild of America East, and you've been focusing a lot on critical industry incentives. So what are some of the projects you're trying to work on? I know Go Green, is that kind of one of them?
PGA Goes Green, that's what we're all about.
Okay.
The Producers Guild of America is the trade association for producers in the film and television industry, which includes broadcast, documentaries, new media. And one of the initiatives that I've been involved with is PGA Goes Green, and we have been able to jump on the sustainability bandwagon because there was a study that came out, which by the way has since been refuted, but there was a study that came out 5 years ago that said the entertainment industry, film industry in particular, is one of the largest pollutants in this country. That statistic has been refuted, but it gave everyone good reason to sit back and think, what are we doing with our trash when we're done with the film set? And we've created an initiative called PGA Goes Green. It's open to anyone. There are 2 websites. One is called pgagreen.org, and the other one is called productionguide.com. Oh, no, I'm sorry, greenproductionguide.com. And you can go on these websites and learn great tips for when you're putting up a show, whether it's theater, whether it's television, whether it's film. Start at the end. Start with how you're going to dispose of your sets, and then work your way backwards. Sort of like managing a career. Where do you want to be when you're retired? What do you want people to say at your funeral? Then work your way backwards. So.
Work your way backwards.
Right, exactly.
And in 1992, you became a member of New York Women in Film and Television. Tell me more about this organization, what it is.
NYWIFT, New York Women in Film and Television. That was one of the first film, TV associations that I became involved with, which is what I tell everybody when you're going to graduate. I mean, you're going into broadcast journalism, go join all those associations because it's just networking. NYWIFT is a tremendous networking organization in New York, and it's all film and television professionals, whether they are on camera or behind the camera, and if you don't meet people, you won't really meet people. So you need to get out there and join these associations. And for me, NYWIFT is a networking organization, and I have been so thrilled with what's been going on with that organization, because it's their mission to introduce you to other people in your industry.
What do you do as a member in your organization?
When I started NYWIFT, I was on the special events committee, which meant I helped them plan special events and special programs. Now, especially with my work with the Producers Guild, I can't be a part of any of their committees, so I just go with love and support. I'm there, when they have an event, or I actually did do an event for them. They asked me to be on a panel, so I sat on a panel for them, 2 or 3 months ago. So just recently about the Producers Guild and introducing it to other film professionals in New York. It was fun.
Yeah, that sounds fun. And you also are an active member of the nonprofit Business Council for Peace.
That's BPeace. That's why we did this. The Business Council for Peace is bpeace.org.
Okay.
And that is why we did Thread.
Great, that's awesome. So what do you feel most accomplished about any of these programs? Which ones do you have one that you feel the most inspired by, or just they're all?
Oh, that's not fair. You can't ask a question like that. I think, especially being a freelance person in the entertainment industry, I think every program brings a lot to my world, whether it's networking, whether it's education. The Producers Guild of America, when I first became a member, before I became the vice chair of the PGA East, I took every seminar and every class that they offered, because really the digital era of television is not that old. And I did not know a lot about the digital world, so I took every class and every seminar that I could, and I like to say it's my grad school education. That's what all of these associations do, whether it's the Independent Feature Film Project, the NYWIFT, the PGA. It's all about, for me, it's continuing education.
Awesome. So what other things do you see for the future of you? What are there any projects in the future?
Personally?
Yeah.
Where do I see myself 5 years from now?
Well, what do you see? Yeah, I guess.
I've started my own production company, which is very exciting, and I am developing my own projects, which is why I started this production company. So the goal now is to take what I've learned over these years by being the producer that other people hire to produce their stuff, and produce my own stuff.
So what would you have? What advice would you have for someone like myself or anyone in this mass communication arts program? There's a lot of us trying to get into the business. So what advice would you give to all of us?
Well, definitely follow your dreams. Don't let anyone talk you out of them. I would say look at the associations. I would say 2 things. Look at the associations that you're interested in. So if you're interested in broadcast media, there are so many fantastic organizations that you can join. So I would say look at those. I would also say look to the Alumni Association, because there are some pretty impressive alumni that graduated Oneonta, and you know, tap into that. That's a huge resource that's at everyone's fingertips here.
Yeah, networking and.
It's all about networking. It's all about who you know. This industry, whether it's broadcast, film production, it's such a difficult industry to break into because there are no rules. So basically, you're making your own rules up, and you should.
Because I mean, right now it's hard because the graduating percentage of getting a job right after, you know, graduation is very low right now.
Yes, but what kind of job? You're not looking for a business job. You're
Well,
looking
right,
for
yeah.
broadcast. So
Yeah,
who knows what
so-
that industry's like?
Yeah, because I guess it's very diverse. You have a lot of options.
And I don't know, even in my year, I don't know anyone that's ever said, "Oh, it's going to be so easy to get a job. Go."
That's true.
I think every year that someone says, "Oh my God, the job market is so closed." Of course, it's closed. You got to get it open.
That's true. That's good. That's a good like a positive aspect.
Yeah,
you know?
I think for years people have been saying that the job market is closed,
Yeah.
and yet people still work. How does that happen?
I don't know yet. We'll see eventually.
Yeah.
Well, what do you do in your spare time for yourself? What do you like to do? So you do all these projects. You're with the film and your television and everything. What do you do for you?
I have great hobbies. I love to cook. I love to entertain. I love to have dinner parties, and I can show you my battle wounds. Look, I have wounded, I have blisters. I love to cook and entertain, and I love theater. And that's what I do.
That's what you do for you.
Yes.
All right, well, I had a great time talking to you. Thank you so much. And thank you for joining me for this edition of SUNY Oneonta's In Discussion. Please join us for future programs and check us out on YouTube at www.youtube.com/SUNY Oneonta. I'm Jacqueline Grady. Thanks for watching.
I'm starving. What's for breakfast?
Guten Tag!
Johannes, Franz!
I bring you arts-enriched Raisinblams, fortified with increased test scores and creative problem-solving skills.
It's good!
And good for you.
Bobby? Susie?
Don't worry, that's just the power of the arts!
Feed your kids the arts for 10 simple ways to learn.
It was not. It was like...
It's easy to tell if you've had way too many. But what if you've had just one too many? Buzz driving is drunk driving.
By adopting a shelter pet, you can make a magical difference in the life of an animal. Shelters are full of healthy, loyal, fun, loving pets. And they're all just waiting for you to adopt them. You can bring home your new buddy today. Find out more at theshelterpetproject.org.